Yeah, I mean, I think, Mr. Becker, you were alluding to this on the legality. While researching this, I found this executive order from December the 4th, 1981, it's under President Reagan. It's executive order number 12333. It's the United States Intelligence Activities, and Section 2.11. It is entitled, that assassinations are not allowed, and I quote here, "No person employed by or acting on behalf of the United States government shall engage in or conspire to engage in assassination." So this really did bring up, I mean, we can't just skip over this legal issue. I mean, this is here in black and white. Has this executive order been overturned since 1981? Is Obama actually allowed to pass this judgment for assassination?
Well, of course he's not allowed to. The presidency, the office of the president has taken upon itself the authority, conferred upon itself the authority, a dictatorial policy to decide who they can kill, when they can kill. The fact that they can do this at all, that they, that they declare themselves allowed to do this, is a complete violation of the Constitution, many court decisions, previous executive orders, et cetera, and the most basic concepts of due process. So by doing this, in effect, what the president is doing is saying that he has the sole authority to decide who lives and who dies. And we should put this in a larger context as well, is that according to the U.S. Constitution, the Congress of the United States has the sole authority, which has been ignored now for a long time, but it's in the Constitution, the sole authority to declare war. And yet what we are seeing is wars that are undeclared and therefore illegal under the U.S. Constitution, not only in Iraq and Afghanistan, but now in Pakistan, in Yemen, in Somalia, and who knows where else, because the secrets, the secret wars are secret until they become revealed. But all of this is completely illegal, and the people of the United States and the world should speak out in the strongest possible terms against this.
I mean, Mr. Carter, one would say that we have the war on terrorism now. We didn't have it when the Constitution was created. We didn't have it maybe 3-4 decades ago, and that times have changed, that these kind of actions are necessary given the world climate today.
Well, unnecessary, it's a bit difficult. Terrorism has been a factor way before even the U.S. Constitution. One could actually sort of say that the U.S. actions of trying to go against the Boston Tea Party, well, it wasn't the U.S. then, but the sort of rebels were then actually terrorists. So the notion that, this is sort of new or possibly something that is not sort of witnessed in the Constitution might not be completely founded, but I will say that one thing we'll have to look at is there's a lot of case law. There is a Constitution that we have that sort of make sure that it thwarts the, and also along with the rape about
Mr. Carter, I'm just going to stop you because we're having some problems with the connection and I can't gather exactly what you're saying. Let's get that sorted out and we'll get back to you. But Mr. Becker, let's pick up on what Mr. Carter was saying there. I mean, the idea, I mean, this is what comes out of the US administration. It came out of the Bush administration, it's coming out of the Obama administration, that this is a new threat. We don't quite understand it. I mean, Blair said, well, we may be shooting behind the rabbit here and it's moving faster than we thought, but we're spending a lot of additional effort on that, trying to understand it. So given that we don't understand, or the US is saying they don't understand what's going on, it's a new threat, it's the new war on terror, aren't these laws or these assassinations necessary in this war on terror?
Well, first of all, it has to be pointed out that all of the people that they are targeting and declaring to be legitimate targets are all suspects. That is, that nothing has been proven against them because they have not been brought before, they have not been brought to trial. They have just been declared to be what the government decides to designate them as, and in this case, they call them terrorists, and then say, well, now that we've called them terrorists, we have the right to kill them. I mean, it's truly outrageous. And, we have to also put it in the context of What are we talking about when we say terrorist here? There's one definition that's accepted in the West, but isn't not terror when drones, unmanned drones, fire Hellfire missiles into wedding parties in Afghanistan or in Pakistan and take it upon themselves the right to do this? You know, there's an old saying, I don't recall who said it, but I think it's very true, that terrorism is the war of the poor against the rich, and war is the terrorism of the rich against the poor. But, you know, we don't put it that way. Merely saying that someone, merely accusing someone of being a terrorist, and then conferring upon yourself the authority, or your government the authority, to kill them, is really tears up any kind of due process or rights that the people have.
I mean, Mr. Carter, welcome back. Sorry I had to cut you off. How much of this is about mistrust of the United States and not about the world? Because, look, we know in the Middle East and Africa and many parts of the world, they don't trust the United States. How much of this is about Americans not trusting the United States? It's not a fact that the president will come up and say, we have to do this, and everybody will be like, oh, well, the president said we have to do this. There's a lot of things we probably don't know behind the scenes. And this isn't Republican or Democratic specific. It seems that Americans simply don't trust the words coming out of their administration anymore. Do we have Mr. Carter with us? No, it seems we still have some problems with the line there. Mr. Becker, if you caught my question, if I can hand it over to you.
Well, there's no reason that people should trust the government. There's absolutely no reason. I mean, the track record of lying, and as you say, under the Democratic as well as Republican administrations, is now quite a long one. It would be quite naive to have any confidence in what this government says in regard to matters like this, and particularly in regard to how they are making war. You know, they lock people up for years and years. They lock up journalists because they don't like the way that they're reporting, and then they declare, well, that journalist, particularly the journalist from Al Jazeera, who was held, I believe, for 7 years, there was nothing that they had on him, not even any accusation. They didn't like the way he was reporting, and they didn't like the way that network was reporting, the way that the U.S. was carrying on the war in the Middle East, because the network was unveiling the lies, was taking away the shield that was protecting the people of the United States in particular from knowing the reality of what its government is doing in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and elsewhere in the Middle East. So there is basically no reason at all to trust, and a great deal of reason to mistrust the government. But mistrusting alone won't do what's needed. What the people need to do is to take action and to demand an end to this so-called war on terrorism and the policies that are associated with, like this assassination policy.
Okay, I'm being told we have Mr. Carter back. They say third time lucky. Mr. Carter, while you're disconnected there, we were just talking about if this is about Americans not trusting the American administration to do things like this, that they don't trust the measures that might be behind it, and the reasons why they might go and assassinate an American. If I can pass the final comments over to you on that.
Well, difficulty with what we're looking at, international law, sovereignty issues, factor will have better within the context of sort of law, because own interest to pursue. Now, sort of blowing this assassination
yeah, I'm going
out of proportion.
It's just one of those bugs in the line that are just not going away, Mr. Carter. I'm so sorry, but thank you for your comments earlier. Let's wrap up at this point. I'd like to thank Michael Scott Carter joining us there from London, political commentator, and also to Richard Brecker joining me there from San Francisco from the Answer Coalition. That is a wrap for this edition of News Analysis, coming to you from the Iranian capital, Tehran. From me, Narges Moballighi, and the whole News Analysis team, many thanks for joining us. Join us again at the same time tomorrow for more News Analysis.